the Henry Ford quote and the Steve Jobs quote would come up regularly in our work. And the way that we would see that is Jobs is correct when he says that customers don't necessarily know what they want until they see it. Henry Ford is correct when he says if we'd spoken to their customers about what they wanted, they would have asked for faster horses. Now, what both of those quotes miss or misinterpret is that the type of customer research that they are talking about is not where you ask the customer for the solution. That type of research is always trying to explore the problem. It is always your job to innovate. It's always your job to do the hard bit. Of course, Henry Ford's customers weren't going to say, do you know what, there's been fabulous advances in the combustion engine and there's a network of canal tracks that run alongside canals. Why don't we get an engine instead of a horse? Of course, they're not going to do that. That's his engineer's job. But where you do check in with your customer is when you move away from the problem piece, where you research in the traditional way, and you move into the solution piece, you do develop solutions in line with your customers. So if we can stick with Steve Jobs, and iPhones don't have buttons anymore, but the early iPhones did have buttons. And Apple famously tested 120 combination of button widths, materials, and levels of firmness, because they wanted the users of those first phones, when they pressed that button, they wanted that product to feel usable, solid, reliable. So they tested 120 solutions. So if someone says, Steve Jobs just come up and went, here's the end product, that's just not the case. He understood customers well enough to innovate, but he kept himself close to customers during that innovation process, so that by the time he launched that product, he knew that the dimensions and the firmness and the materials of that button were exactly what his customers wanted. So he was leaving none of that to chance. He was designing that to the nth degree. And for me, that's the beauty of it. You ask customers questions to understand the problem, but you then research their behaviours around the solutions that you're trying out, in the knowledge that some of your ideas will be brilliant and your customers will love them, and many of your ideas will be poor and your customers will reject them. But that's the beauty of the process.